It's that time of year again, and folks, ghosts and ghouls are roaming the halls, and only one man can save us. Mario's underappreciated underdog brother, Luigi. For this year's Halloween special, I figured we'd look at Luigi's first actually successful solo adventure that turned him into the cowardly hero we know him as today.
Dylan, Halloween was 3 months ago.
Oh yeah? Well, what's this then? Yeah, I don't see that argument anymore.
Happy Halloween!
Before you watch this wonderful Halloween special that is definitely happening on Halloween, I swear, you should definitely click subscribe, the bell, the like icon. You could click the join button to check out my live playthrough of this game because I have some fun commentary going on. But other than that, I just hope you have a good time. Hey guys, it's Garrula64, and it's Halloween. I can hardly believe it. Don't listen to these numbers. Time is a suggestion. Luigi is forever. Back in 2001, Nintendo was getting ready for the launch of its newest console, the greatest thing ever created Cube, but they found out that name was a little bit too long, so they changed it so it's just the GameCube. The game was all set for launch, but then Shiggy Miyamoto himself realized they didn't have a Super Mario Siblings game for the launch. So what do you do in that situation? Well, obviously he called up the Dark Lord himself and cashed in a favor, therefore granting us the terrifying and terrific game we know today as Linguini's Mansion. The Mario series has seen its fair share of ghost levels over its runtime so far, but the ghosts had never become main antagonists before, so what better way to do so than putting the main character himself, Mr. Mario, out of commission. The plot kicks off by Luigi receiving a letter saying that he won a contest that he never entered and now owns a mansion. Now, these days, scams are pretty common, so I think something like this would probably raise some red flags for any sane person, but you know, like, I get called every single day about my car's extended warranty running out. I kinda just wish one of these scammers would, like, throw me a curveball and tell me my brother's kidnapped and stuck in a haunted mansion. Like, that might be a little more exciting than just hitting the block button for the 10th time in 1 week. Mario being very excited that his dear brother that he will not take on vacation a year after this has a new place to hang out at, so he heads over there first, but Luigi then suddenly loses contact with him. Luigi then follows in his brother's footsteps, as he usually does, and arrives at a mansion that doesn't exactly look like the picture he had on the paper. I mean, imagine getting catfished by a house. When Luigi arrives, he just lets himself into the front door because, you know, like, he owns the place, so it's not like he's trespassing, and he finds that all of the doors are locked and his brother is nowhere to be found. After a brief paranormal encounter, Luigi meets Professor Egad, Professor Elvin Gadd. He's a very nice guy with very cool glasses that I wish I had myself. And he saves Luigi from some ghosts who are just kind of like mucking around in one of the rooms. The two then escape the mansion in the nick of time and regroup back in Egad's lab where he tells him that, oh yeah, Mario definitely showed up here and he's definitely captured by ghosts. And that's not good for anybody, I would have to say. Egad mentions that this mansion has literally just appeared here like a couple days before, and you know what? No one should probably have fell for that scam aside from, I guess, Mario and Luigi, because it makes sense. They are always like bashing their heads against blocks. They probably have like 6 brain cells left between the two of them. With Mario missing, Luigi is the only one left who can delve into the mansion's depths to stop the ghost's perilous plans. Egad gives you a vacuum cleaner and a Game Boy Color so you can really feel like Spider-Man. And in return, Luigi is supposed to capture all of the ghosts that escaped from Egad's gallery. I'm actually a little sus of this guy, to be honest, because, like, I'm not really sure what most of these ghosts did to warrant eternal imprisonment inside a painting. I mean, like, for example, like Neville here. Like, he's just sitting there reading a book. Like, what's his crime? Does he just have shit taste in literature? So I'm gonna need you to do something for me, folks. Throw out every single thing you know about the Mario series, because this is a spin-off purely about bustin' ghosts. Pressing that A button in this game doesn't make you jump all over the place like a spider monkey. Instead, it's gonna make Luigi get his grubby little hands all over whatever's in front of him and pull out the fat stacks of loot that are just exploding out of every orifice of this mansion. Like, sure, Mario's in mortal peril, we know, but you know, it's okay if Luigi gets paid on the way to help him. The B button, if you hold it down in a dark room, turns off your flashlight, which allows you to catch ghosts off guard, leading to you pressing the suck button, which allows you to suck up the ghosts, as we were mentioning before. When you're mid-suck, you want to aim the control stick the opposite way the ghost is running, because it's almost like a game of tug-of-war. As you do that, the ghost's HP will decrease, and the suck will be successful. Successful, even. Once you clear the room of all of its undead denizens, the lights will return, because I guess that somehow charges up the electricity around the area, and you will usually get a key or some other kind of chest, but usually a key that will allow you further progress into the mansion. Now, these aren't like Zelda keys, however, where you can use them in pretty much any small door with a lock. You can only use these on the specific room that it shows you once you collect the key, and that makes it so you don't have to backtrack later after you find new powers and abilities. It also kind of just improves the atmosphere a little bit because, you know, you might come across a door you think you're going to be able to open, but you need to wait till much later, and it's like, ooh, what could be behind this door? Is it going to be perhaps ghosts? No way. Not in this game. Now, I did just say this game was really spooky and it has like an atmosphere, and that might be weird because I'm talking about a Mario game and usually they're just, woohoo, yeah, yahoo, woo! But in this game, like, I legitimately could not play this alone at night when I was a kid. I just couldn't do it. I could hardly play it during the day when I was alone because I was a little baby idiot. Hell, I am 25 years old at this point and I know this game inside and out, but when some of those music triggers happen, my anxiety still revs up the littlest bit, and I feel like that's one of this game's biggest strengths. Like, this is a game that is incredibly engaging to play, but it is also a game that you can just feel while you're playing. You really feel like a janitor. As you proceed through the mansion's countless rooms, you find yourself counting countless dollars as well, and also condemning many special ghosts to their pastel prisons. Some standouts at this point would have to be Chauncey, who is the real first boss of the game as opposed to everyone else so far who's been sort of a mini-boss. He's kind of messed up because he's a freaking ghost, baby. But don't you worry, don't worry. Nintendo has covered their bases by saying that he was born as a ghost, and he's not a dead baby. Because that would probably hike up the ESRB a little bit. But you know, at this point, what does it really matter? It's still a baby ghost. It kind of elicits some questions. We also end up meeting Madame Clairvoya pretty early on, who does not attack us. She actually is just there to read us our fortune every time we find one of Mario's lost items.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that's common sense, but also, like, Luigi, dude, what? Gotta say, I really like the ghost designs in this game. They really just exude personality, even if they aren't very Mario-y. Kinda reminds me of, like, humans in Sonic games. They don't really mesh super well, but I don't think they're out of place. I would talk more about specific ghosts, but it turns out that a lot of them, you just kind of have to sit there and wait for them to show their hearts before you can capture them, so it'd be a little bit redundant to talk about more than a couple. On occasion, you might have to do more than just sit around to actually capture these ghosts, like with Melody Piantissima, you need to actually activate all of the objects in the room and then talk to her, do a little music quiz. She's the best ghost, she's really cool, I like this room a lot. And then you have someone like the Clockwork Soldiers, who I literally was bumbling around in that room for like 5 or 6 minutes because I just couldn't remember how to get those guys to start attacking me, and I was about to go look it up, but then they just started shooting at me with their pop guns, and I was actually really caught off guard. It scared me a little bit. Did not get a gold rank on that room, I can tell you that much. I can commend the bosses, however, because they do end up being way different than anything else in the game. Like, for example, we have Bogmire here, who you need to capture the shadows of and shoot them back at him before you can start capturing him. Or we have the iconic Boolossus for being one of the most irritating bosses I've ever played once there are only 1 or 2 boos left in the room. Like, for real, I was stuck at the point where there was 1 boo left, and I was probably doing something wrong. It's been a while since I played this, but he would just not get into the vacuum. Like, it's like he didn't want to be power washed, crushed, and electrocuted into a painting. I can't imagine why. This boss also counts for, like, a ton of boos once you catch him, which I actually think is a very nice consistency thing, because, you know, you're told there are 50 boos in the mansion. If you caught this guy and then you didn't get like 12 boos out of it, it'd be kind of strange. Right, the boos, those are different too. You can only find boos once you clear a room of all the other ghosts and the lights turn on. Then you use your little radar on the Game Boy Color to find out where the boo is hiding, and then you simply have to suck until there's no HP left. This, however, is where things get complicated because the boos can actually leave the room that you find them in. And that means you need to give chase. And if they go into a dark room, that means you're not actually able to capture them as easily. And of course, there are times where you're trying to catch a boo, and they run out of the room, and then they run back into the room, and you get like 2 or 3 HP off of them at a time. And it's just like, man, I'm on the clock here, you know, like, I need to do this, my brother's in peril! I also had this one panic moment in my playthrough where I got to the point where I was going to go find the final boo, but I only had 48 boos sucked up. and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to check every single room in the mansion because there's no way for me to tell which one I've already got where, or like if one ran away and hid in a different room and I don't know where it went. So like thankfully, I just went and checked the breaker room on a whim and the boo was there and I was like, whew, I really did not want to trek through the entire mansion again. That is not what I signed up for. I'm here to get rich and save Mario. Alright, now we finally roll up to King Boo's chamber, and hold on, Mario, there's just one more sapphire up there in that chandelier I gotta grab before we get... Alright, now we're good. Okay, King Boo, do your worst, dude. Oh, I guess the suck is on the other foot now. Okay, alright, that's actually fairly threatening. King Boo just summons this gigantic Bowser mech or puppet or whatever it is, and sometimes its head can just come off or be put back on backwards, and it's very strange for Nintendo to maim one of their characters like this, but I guess this is the same company that later down the line would just melt all of Bowser's skin off in New Super Mario Bros. And that was a little bit of an oopsie, I think. Now, this boss fight isn't super engaging or anything. You wait for Bowser to throw these spike bombs, and then you shoot it back at him, and then you just suck up King Boo when you're able to. But the thing I like about this fight is it actually lends a lot of evidence to this theory out there that Bowser is dead after Paper Mario because he, like, got beat and then fell, like, 1,000,000 miles down to the earth. And King Boo is just using him as a suit at this point. So, like, the King Boo we see in other games looks different than the King Boo we see in Luigi's Mansion. And that's because that's the real King Boo piloting Bowser like a Gundam, whereas the other King Boo is just some imposter to kind of throw off the trail. And then meanwhile, the real King Boo with Bowser is kind of like trying and failing to mess with the Mario Bros at every single opportunity he has, and it just doesn't work out. But yeah, that's fun, I guess, if you like characters being canonically dead. Of course, that's just a theory, and it doesn't even really make sense, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But anyway, King Boo ends up inside the vacuum, because of course he does, and that is the end of the game. Luigi ends up saving his brother from his painting prison, and ends up shedding a few tears of joy in the process. Oh, but then EGAD also steals all of the money that we made in the mansion, and uses it to build us a whole new mansion that varies in size depending on how much money we collected. And of course, I did get the highest rank, because I collected both gold diamonds in the game for collecting all 50 boos and watering a plant outside, because nature is beautiful and we must protect it. And then it'll give us gigantic golden diamonds. That's fucking awesome. Now this video wouldn't really be complete if I didn't mention the 3DS remake of Luigi's Mansion, which is actually kind of a funny story, because back in the day, Nintendo was actually experimenting with stereoscopic 3D for Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube, so this kind of just came full circle. Obviously, the 3DS is not as powerful as the GameCube, so of course the models and stuff are going to look a little worse. I think Luigi looks pretty dang stiff when he's walking around sometimes, but other than that, I don't think it looks too bad for what it is. The game also hosts a variety of options that allow it to become a little bit more smooth of an experience, like if you hold down the R button, you can use gyro controls instead of the little, C-stick nub on the new 3DS, which doesn't work very well at all, I've found. And it also has the ability to use the strobe bulb from Luigi's Mansion 2 if you'd rather use that instead of the regular flashlight, and it could provide a different experience, but I think it might actually be a little bit of a hindrance sometimes. My favorite addition, however, is the fact that if you go to the gallery, which is now completely redesigned, and I guess it's fine, you can refight every single ghost boss in the game instead of having to restart the game and try again. And that actually allows you to get better ranks, and I mean, heck, I'm up for that. I like that, because some of these bosses are really fun, and it's good to not have to retrek through the whole game to fight Boolossus and suffer some more. The remake also adds a co-op mode where the future EGAD from Luigi's Mansion 2 sends a new experiment back in time, probably using the Mario and Luigi Partners in Time time machine because he also invented that, but Nintendo would never confirm that because us Mario and Luigi fans are never gonna get a bone thrown our way ever again. But here we're introduced to Gooigi, Luigi's gelatinous doppelganger that would be a big part of Luigi's Mansion 3. Your second player takes control of him and you can walk around the mansion together at half of the frame rate of the regular game for some reason, and I never quite understood why. I don't know if the game's been patched since I played it with my buddy back near the launch day, but as you can see from these two side-by-sides, the frame rate's a little funky, and it's not really worth playing in my opinion. Like, if you want to play this game, I would still recommend the GameCube version. If the 3DS one is the only thing you can get your hands on, I would say try playing it with a Circle Pad Pro if you can, but like, that would require having the original 3DS, and that's just a whole nother bad time in store. Oh boy, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but I love this game, and I love this series, and I think all 3 games are worth a play if you're able to and you haven't yet. And I mean, what other way than to get into the perfect Halloween-y spirit on this very, very spooky October 31st. It is. Time works differently in the Void, okay? You see where I am? You don't know how time works. I know how time works. Jeez, God, buzzkills, everybody. Happy Halloween, everybody. Even if it's not Halloween, I hope you enjoyed this stupid video. The joke was that it's not Halloween and I made a Halloween video. But yeah, if you like this and you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe, click the bell, follow my Twitter, and join the Discord to keep up with more Luigi's Mansion and other things that aren't Luigi's Mansion, because I do a lot of things. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to my current supporters, who are Chaotic Mercenary, Noah Wizbios, Brady Hilkemeyer, Jaden the Hedgehog, Kaido the Samurai, Danny Lee Dauber, Mike TGC, Jeremy, Mailman019, Dex, T-Bone APH, The 7 Superstars, Crystal, Ty Little Tech Guy, PM13, Chaos, Dork in a Hat, Mega Traffic Cone, and on Patreon, Noah Wizbios again, and John the Real Wawa Luigi. Thank you also to everyone who supported me in the $1 tiers that you can see down there. I appreciate it. Even $1 helps a lot and gets you access to things like today's Let's Play video for this game and a whole bunch of blooper videos from the past. If you're interested in seeing any of those, go ahead and click the join button below the video or the card up there to check out my Patreon. Then you get to see those things through the Discord and just ask in the supporter chats if you're lost. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.